Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. You basically we are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. City creation basically we are discussing one of the topic that is India con. India con basically we are discussing the topic that is SBI account, Amazon account, and after 2 days basically the earthquake basically is going to happen in India. That is also big earthquake. So one of the person told that yeah, that is the actually topic. Basically. In this basically we have discussed lots of things basically about the lava basically. The lava department will say that basically yeah, few things basically we also don't know. Just now basically you told that basically. When basically if any of the lava department will see this video, they will say that yeah, Sunil, we actually never got this type of information that basically we are doing this whole thing basically. We are doing this whole thing basically. Today only basically we just able to know that basically. So that is also different point basically. So one person told that basically. Sand equal to land. Land equal to lava. Lava equal to land. Land equal to sand. This is the simple formula basically. And sand equal to set of energies. And that energy can be current energy, future energy, and can be of the past energy also. Lots of people say that past energy is possible basically. Then one person told that past energy mostly basically that is not possible because each and every past energy has converted into water. So this basically water basically you can see now basically that is the past energy. This basically NASA and ISRO group basically know that what actually water is. So one of the person told that water can be past, but past basically again basically it connects to current and future basically. Then basically that is what basically because water is past, but that past basically when it converts to seawater basically it goes to seawater, it connects to future and current data basically. So that's basically very dangerous thing here. Basically, the world basically which has currently basically the world is in which stage basically that is in very dangerous thing. Basically. Anything basically can happen any second basically. I'm telling you. And currently basically the war is also ongoing. So that second basically has converted into millisecond basically. Previously it was second. Now after war basically it has converted to millisecond. So you can just imagine basically. And one of the person told that war तो मतलब always basically in this world basically few countries are basically always fighting always basically because requirement of earth planet is that you should always fight basically but then one of the person to the why basically it's like that basically that is the sound effect basically that is the sound effect basically because earth planet is moving at this particular direction sometimes basically earth planet get disappear basically so from that sound basically you can able to track that basically this is the earth planet and this area basically is the earth planet is so you can just imagine how dangerous things basically are created basically how dangerous thing is world basically so one of the person told that the people who actually created the world basically they might be staying in the world basically that is the question the people actually who created the world they might be staying in the world or basically they might have left for the another planet basically for staying that is also questionable so that is basically different point basically but earth planet is the most flexible planet that also you can say why flexible because you will get everything basically here basically. Everything means each and everything basically is in earth planet whatever basically you want that you are going to get in earth planet there is no other planet basically the people who basically say that basically we have created the world and some for and after a certain time basically they leave the world basically after that certain time basically they comes to world why because in this world basically the thing basically which can't happen in universe basically that happens in our earth planet basically. So they again basically have to come to earth planet because earth planet is created, they only created the world basically. The groups who basically leaves the world, they only created the world basically. And they know that basically world is the most flexible planet basically. That is the earth planet. So mostly basically world will never end. That is 100% sure basically. But 100% we can't say anything. So 98 percentage would be okay. So one person told that the lava data basically which is connected, that is connected with the future past basically. Future means that 100 crore child which is going to happen, going to come basically. That is connected with some certain level of past data, current data. That is basically the nature data. That is the water, energy, season, everything. And according to that, the condition is also basically added in the software. That is a 10 crore software basically. In 10 crore software basically, the conditions are also added. Conditions are also added basically. Conditions are also added basically. So you can just imagine basically. One of the person told that yeah, here basically in this few past video basically, you created lots of project basically for the company basically, for the software company basically. सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी के लिए तुमने बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट बना दिए बेसिकली हियर बेसिकली which basically does not exist in this world only basically. It might be exist, but you have to do some integration with it. But the project like this basically, that is what, that is like 100 crore child which is going to happen in that basically Sunil R Nair basically generation has ended. Here basically realist my generation is not ended. I'm just taking as an example basically. So one of the person told that Sunil basically your last designation was as a project manager in software industry basically. After that basically you never got the job. You tried basically in Mumbai, you tried in Bangalore. You basically never got the job only. After having basically this much knowledge, you basically don't get the job basically. So what might be the reason? Basically? So just a minute, just a 1 minute. So what might be the reason basically? So one of the person told that yeah, that basically what might be the reason basically? There are few groups basically, like basically I told basically Mumbai city. One of the person basically local Mumbai person basically told Sunil basically if you will visit 10 times also in Mumbai no, basically they are not going to give you job basically. So that is actually Mumbai city Abhiman basically. The Mumbai software company basically they have done the investment in Vadodara city also. So they basically have control of Vadodara city also. So by default basically they taken the control of Vadodara city also. So here also basically you are not going to get the job basically. So one of the person told that basically what basically should you do basically to get the job basically. Something basically you have to do basically for get the job basically. One of the satellite basically person asked the map of the Vadodara city also where actually the Vadodara city is. So we displayed the Vadodara city map also. And one person basically asked where is Mumbai city land also. Because where basically the people have told that basically if you will visit 10 times also then also you will not get the job. So satellite group told that basically we want to see that land basically. So they might be thought they might be having this something basically in mind basically. That's why basically they have because they have created the world basically. They have created the world. So they might be thinking basically, we have never created this type of world here basically. Where one person is asking for job basically, then basically nobody is basically giving the job basically. We have not created this type of world basically. That is your Earth planet people basically has created. That is the nuclear power company had as basically they have added their condition basically. That is condition as a Abhiman. So Mumbai basically say that basically we will not going to give job. So in that Mumbai, the Vadodara city also told. Why? Because Vadodara city investment basically is done by Mumbai group. Basically. So one of the person told that water actually is a past or current or future basically. Because each and every data basically na, in this world basically that is connecting to this only. Sand basically that is the 100 crore child which is going to happen. That is the past basically. But it is connecting to current also. Why? Because whatever incidents basically which is happening in this world basically. For example, Dubai rain basically came suddenly. That is also connecting to that data basically. That is 100 crore child basically, which is going to come. In that basically, my child basically is not going to come. Somebody has ended my generation through Nasbandi. Just taking as an example, really basically my Nasbandi has not done. Reason each and every incident basically which is happening there, that is connecting to that 100 crore. So one of the person told, where is that land here basically? We want to see that land basically. Because in that answer basically who might be having this answer basically, lots of power company basically also basically might not be having the answer, but nuclear power company basically might be having. Why? Because they are only passing the data to the energies and power company by collecting the current data basically of. So you can just imagine basically the world basically which is going basically how perfect timely basically it is going, because power data are also basically coming exactly what basically is required, and every process basically is happening as basically is required. So it's a perfect timely basically the world is ongoing basically. You will not able to believe this. This is the best example of AI basically. That is the artificial intelligence basically. The power data basically is coming automatically according to the current generation basically, and future generation which is going to happen basically. So one of the person told that यार basically मतलब क्या है कि what is this basically, what is this basically, that is question basically, basically what actually this is basically. So one of the person told that really यार basically मतलब what is this basically. So one of the person told that this is the world basically which is created by universe group basically and which is modified by earth planet, that are the nuclear power company, energies companies and power companies. They have created the blood also basically. They have only created the blood. World created by universe group and modified by earth planet people. That are the rich people. Only rich people basically can create the world basically. Who else basically can create the world? Is there any person basically in this world basically who is poor person? For example, I can create the, I can basically create one city also. No, that is not possible here. This type of activity those people only can do who is basically connected with rich people. One collector basically signs the paper of the some project basically, they are also connected with one of the rich person basically. That's why they are at that particular post. That's why basically they are connected with particular post. So I had taken one example with 10 crore projects. That means 10 crore people groups. That means 10 crore rich people. In that, basically 10 crore rich people are there, and other peoples basically are also there, which are those people basically that we have already discussed. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the things basically are connected. So one of the person told that how the world is created here basically. How the world basically is created basically.
દ્વારા ડાયલ કરવામાં આવેલ નંબર હાલમાં વ્યસ્ત છે કૃપા કરી થોડા સમય પછી પ્રયાસ કરો आपके द्वारा डायल किया गया नंबर अभी व्यस्त है कृपया कुछ समय पश्चात प्रयास करें The number you have dialed is currently busy. Please try later. દ્વારા ડાયલ કરવામાં આવેલ નંબર હાલમાં વ્યસ્ત છે કૃપા કરી થોડા સમય પછી પ્રયાસ કરો आपके द्वारा डायल किया गया नंबर अभी व्यस्त है कृपया कुछ समय पश्चात प्रयास करें The number you have dialed is currently busy. Please try later.
So one of the person told that basically just now basically we got three languages basically. So one of the person told that the lava data basically which is dumped inside that data basically, that is basically connected with which language basically. The child basically which is going to come, which is telling that basically I have selected my father, that this is my father, and I am going to get birth from this particular ladies. Like this basically the creation is, or basically the father and the girls basically data basically goes to that lava data, that is the 100 crore, and basically selects that basically this child is okay, this child is okay, this child is okay or not okay. Like this basically the condition is like this, or basically what? But one thing is confirmed from these two basically, one thing happens basically in this world daily. Daily basically one thing happens basically. So one of the person told that you are basically in Vadodara city, where basically you are not getting the job. So problem basically is in Vadodara city only. There might be many people basically, Sunil, you will not be able to believe that basically. We basically see from satellite, they basically blocks your resume also basically. That also we have saw basically. But we are waiting for the perfect time basically. And the people who are blocking, they basically immediately leave the Vadodara city also after blocking basically. So who might be those people basically? Who is basically given the permission of entry to those people basically? That is also question basically. That also we are going to see basically. When perfect time will come, that day basically we are going to view that video basically. We are going to present that video basically. So here basically one of the person told that there might be possible that basically your resume also basically might have blocked, your number also basically might have blocked. Lots of things basically might have done by certain level of groups from Vadodara, because only Vadodara have the rights basically. Vadodara city only have the rights basically. In that basically, few people say that basically without government support basically that is not possible. So in Vadodara city, which government it is? BJP and Congress. So it might possible that basically you are not getting the job, you are not getting the call. So they might have blocked your mobile number also, because BJP and Congress people basically are that kind of Abhimani people basically will not able to believe it basically. And you are telling basically bad about the BJP people. So they might have basically a few people basically might have watched this video and they might have done something basically. That is also basically possible. So one person told that basically let basically thing basically go first peacefully. That is the best thing basically. Because world creation basically has taken lots of time basically. So peace is the only basically way. But peace thing basically few people basically don't understand. So how to explain that group basically? That is also question basically. That is also question basically. Few people basically don't understand the peace basically. Just a minute. Few people basically don't understand the peace language. So how to explain those people? Because we can't take the responsibility of whole world basically. That entire world basically human resource department is like this, software companies like this. That is the task of the big software companies like TCS. They are basically getting the money for that basically. They are the number one companies basically. They were actually supposed to do this everything basically. But it might possible that the TCS group also basically might be involved in this. Because as big post basically you get na basically you get more power basically. So in that basically using of power basically in wrong way basically that kind of thing also basically might be possible basically. Few people basically might have used your their power in wrong way basically, like TCS group basically. But they basically never do that basically. But then also basically it might be possible basically. You can't say anything basically. You basically can't say anything. So one of the person told that yeah basically we are actually some confused basically. Confused basically the 100 crore child group basically comes to the current data that is the father mother data that is the boys data basically. Or basically it is like that basically that the father mother data basically that is the child current generation data. They that energy they basically physically don't do basically. Their energy basically goes and say that basically which child is basically suiting for us basically. So one person told that yeah मतलब कौन सा which might be the correct answer basically. Or basically both might be coming or basically here basically. Or basically some place basically is decided for the two energy basically it will go to that area and then basically they will decide what basically. That is actually very dangerous thing basically. For example one person basically got some he basically got job assume that basically he is a salaried person. He basically selected one girl basically from one of the matrimonial site any basically Jeevan Sadhi Shadi.com any basically Bharat Matrimonial or basically Matra matrimony dot in matrimonyindia.com like this basically many websites. From there basically he got one girl basically for they basically had many talk like this that each and everything. First they basically selected, then basically the attraction happened, then basically this that each and everything, then basically they went each other, then they selected these that each and everything basically happened, and then basically the marriage happened. So that system basically is here also. It's like that basically. The boys basically the father basically which is going to happen, going to become father. His energy basically goes there, manipulation happens and selects that basically this is my child going to happen, this that each and everything basically. Or basically that which data basically comes here, or basically both data basically comes here and there basically. What is that basically? Yeah, basically it's not basically very dangerous thing basically, because this is one chain basically. In that basically universe group say that basically we have to break this chain periodically, otherwise basically it will become very dangerous thing. So they break the chain periodically, basically, from nuclear bomb, basically. And this is a digital world. So we will replace nuclear bomb to nuclear missile. And they basically periodically do they do basically. And few people told that basically nowadays basically the peace of world basically people basically believe in peace. So they have created different country basically where basically that basically country basically is not in the map also, and few countries basically are not in the map. They basically fight each other, and then basically they do the nuclear bomb, and then basically the chain basically gets breaks of the how basically that gets break that basically we have already discussed. So you can just imagine here basically matlab, how the things basically are connected. Basically. So one of the person told that मतलब really में मतलब ये सब सही है या मतलब just basically bundle only, and this is the only way basically. So whatever system basically which is created, that way basically the creation basically happens. So one of the person told that like this basically the way world has created. In this world basically everything is basically connected with peacefully basically. So let's basically have one peace song basically. See one peace song basically. So this is the song of peace basically. So lots of people says that first basically explain in this way only. Basically. That is the best way basically to Vadodara city. And peace is the only basically best way. Basically. So one of the person told that the lava data, that is the future data, that is the 100 crore data basically which is going to come basically, data basically which is going to come, that is connecting up to what level basically. See, each and every incident basically which is happening, that is connected with that lava data basically. Whatever thing basically which is, for example, I am recording this, that is also connected with that lava data basically. You will not able to believe this. I am basically having this mobile basically, and basically had this mobile, so that is also connected with that lava data basically. I am getting messages, that is also connected with that lava data basically. Just now basically song basically is ongoing in near the apartment basically. Some marriage song basically is ongoing. That is also connected with that lava data basically. Each and every incident basically which is connected basically to that lava data basically. So you will not able to believe basically. So one person told that, yeah, that's very dangerous thing. Yeah. Just now basically you discussed. Just now basically which you discussed, that is very dangerous thing basically. This basically, that means a child basically which process is happening. So few people told that basically the energy company, power company, and nuclear power company basically, they are doing basically, they are also basically doing something basically. For example, one Bollywood person told that basically, you eat that apple, you will get boy basically. You eat that fruit basically, you will have girl basically. So what is that basically? Yeah, basically, what is that basically? That is also thing basically. So one person told that there are many types of world basically which is ongoing in this world. One is natural process basically, and another is, one person basically told, go that and basically there and basically eat apple. So birth process basically happened. So he basically become father and he got boy. That was who told? That person basically told. So like this also basically things are there. That is basically created by, that apple basically was created by nuclear power company, energy company, and power company. They have created that apple basically. So you can just imagine basically how the world is already created. So here basically we discussed lots of things, basically, lots of things, and this everything basically connecting to the software industry only. Lots of people say that basically I sends video to lots of people. They basically say that, yeah, basically you are send some software related thing basically. Yeah. But software basically is not everything basically. This is also connecting to the software only basically. Here basically the business is developing basically from the user stories basically. In this video only basically we created 4 to 5 projects. That is the software industries project basically. And you basically are project manager basically. So you Sunil Nair basically is a software delivery head and project manager. So you can also basically understand it basically easily. And I am only basically displaying this video basically. So I can understand more easily. That basically I have already created lots of project basically in this software now, in this video only basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level things basically happen. So one person basically told that is one person basically asked the question, Sunil, basically you can handle the entire software company. I can easily basically handle the software company, but that is basically little bit tough basically. But handling basically that easily can be handled. You can basically handle the entire delivery heads designations. You can basically handle the CEO post. You basically can handle the development team. You can handle the each and every infrastructure team basically, because nowadays it's a cloud computing world. So it's AWS, Google, and Azure basically. That is Microsoft Azure. So it's a cloud computing world basically. Everything basically are deployed in the cloud basically. Cloud equal to set of data, set of PC basically, that also, which are basically located at certain place basically, and where basically you have to purchase the place basically. Previously you are purchasing servers, now basically you are purchasing space basically, and in that space basically they will give the option that you basically want this data to be deployed in which location basically. In that basically you can select the location. So one person basically told, but for example, India basically, you have selected USA. Assume that basically Amazon Group basically have given the option that you can deploy your project data basically in USA also. In list basically USA is given. So really basically they deploys the Indian data basically in USA basically, because the rules basically according to the rules and according to the logic basically according to the AWS selection basically. I will take one example basically how Amazon basically data is connected with. Amazon basically came to India. He basically studied the Indian culture basically. He studied Indian purchasing style. He basically studied Indian purchasing time. Everything basically he has studied, and he got the information that at this particular time basically they do this type of purchasing. At this time basically they do this type of purchasing. Like this, according to that basically he deployed the server. He created the server basically. So whenever basically this time comes, he basically allocates more server to the country, and sometimes basically to the city basically. If you will go a little bit more deeper, it connects to states and cities. So that is the study of Amazon basically. That basically we can't deny to that Amazon's study basically. That is Amazon's study. So according to that study basically, I came into conclusion that basically whatever data basically which is deploying in the of the Indian nationality and basically that is the Indian land basically. Wherever, for example, from Mumbai basically one of the person basically deployed some function basically, and that function basically is he has selected USA, and basically that function can be used by any of the across the world basically, and that is connected with the shopping basically. Assume that basically that is connecting one of the shopping website. In that function shopping website, that function is basically getting used. So here the thing is basically he selected USA basically, but really basically his function is basically stored in the USA server basically, because practically it is not possible. That means basically Amazon basically is telling lie basically, that basically I have this, you have selected USA, so we are deploying your data in your function in USA only basically. So he's telling lie basically. That is also question basically. Like big businessman basically can't say lie basically. And in this basically Amazon basically is connected with the government. So whatever government say basically that he have to do, or basically another thing basically might be. But practically basically when you see na basically that is not possible. If you are selecting USA, that means your data basically is not going to USA. Basically. That is practically it is not possible basically. Because this type of basically management study basically doesn't give the approval. management basic study and the technical study basic doesn't give the approval. So if you are selecting USA, that doesn't mean that your data basically is going to the USA server only. It is within the India range only. That is basically my study basically. That is my study basically. As per the Amazon study basically, I came into the conclusion basically. And mostly basically this might be right also. This might be right also. Here basically we are not discussing basically Amazon basically. But according to the management study, according to the technical study, according to the Amazon basically how the Amazon has created AWS everything basically, according to that. So he basically have the center in India basically somewhere. From there only basically he's handling the America's data. Basically. America's data means when you are selecting the combo box from India basically. Some Indian businessman basically has selected that basically I want to deploy my function basically in this server that is the America server. But that is not deploying in America server. That is deploying in India only. As per basically my study basically. But we can't basically came into the conclusion. We basically can't say that basically they like this basically he might be 100% basically deploying in USA only basically. That is basically not possible. Practically it is not possible. There are many reasons basically behind that, and lots of things basically we have discussed also basically. Lots of things basically we have discussed also. So here basically we are not discussing that basically. The reason basically we have discussed lots of things which is connecting to the Amazon also basically. So here basically point is what basically, here the point is lava data basically. That lava data na basically is connecting to this Amazon data also basically. That's why the reason is that whenever basically you are selecting USA, it goes to Indian server only basically. Because it's directly each and every incidence basically which is happening in India basically, that is connecting to that lava data only. That is the future data which is the 100 crore child going to happen. 100 crore basically child which is going to happen. Whatever thing basically you are doing basically, that is going to connect to the Amazon child. Sorry, not Amazon child. The future child database. So one person told that really basically it's like that or basically, because you can't basically, you can basically check this basically just now basically which I told. Energy group basically can check this basically. That is the nuclear power company basically. They can check this basically. Amazon thing basically, that is the normal thing basically, that you basically can check easily basically where basically the Amazon data basically is physically deployed. But that is in India only basically. If you want to write somewhere basically you can write it. Basically. That is basically India. Why? Because each and every incidence na basically it is connecting each and every energy basically are connecting to the lava data basically. That's why basically. And that's basically very complicated thing. Basically. That's why basically nobody take the risk. That is the main thing. Basically. Nobody basically takes the risk. So Amazon data basically, if you are selecting USA, the, from Indian businessman basically has selected the USA, so that is basically going to be deployed in India server only. Mark my word, basically, if you have to write somewhere, you can write it down. Basically. But that is in within India only. That is basically, that basically government basically might be knowing basically. Lots of people say that after that basically Amazon basically will become your enemy basically. But fact is fact basically. You have to accept the fact. Basically. Government will say that basically, भाई तू क्या हमारी बेइज्जती कर रहा है? That means basically government is telling that basically you are basically doing insult of us basically, because we have told public basically that that is America data, and you are telling that basically now basically that is India data. So you are basically insulting Indian policy. So I am not basically insulting Indian policy basically. I am basically not insulting the Indian policy. Basically, I don't have any rights to insult the Indian policy basically. To insult the Amazon policy basically. But whatever things are fact, that is fact. I am not getting job, that is fact basically. I accept it basically. I am not getting job, so that is fact basically. Why? Because whatever things are fact, that is fact basically. That you can't basically deny it basically. You can't deny that basically Sunil basically you are not getting job. I accept that basically I am not getting the job. So one of the person told that Amazon is there. Amazon say that basically our servers function basically you are selected as a UK or basically London or basically USA. So it's the server, the function basically is going to deploy in USA, London only basically. That is not possible. Yeah, practically it is not possible. So that is deploying in India only. Basically. So that basically is the management skill basically. Who is actually doing the management basically? Who is actually handling the USA server basically from India basically. His skill basically and his management skill basically is handling everything basically. So that basically the people basically who are doing the job on also know in that America Amazon server basically which is in India basically. They all also basically will never able to track that basically that this is actually USA Amazon server basically. Reason the management basically is up to that level powerful because you can't disclose the rules and regulation of the content basically which is written. If you are telling that basically this function basically is deploying in USA, so that should be in USA, but really basically it is not in USA. It is in Indian server only somewhere, and that server basically is created by Amazon. That property basically is of Amazon only. Here basically the property is also basically of Amazon. He basically is not telling that basically I am basically giving some rent to this particular company, and that company basically are handling data of India server. That basically I'm not telling that basically. So Amazon basically have his own servers basically. That server basically is deploying his data, and that is basically American data are also basically deployed in here only. If the person basically is from America, if he is purchasing some function, then his data basically, if he selects India, then also basically his data is going to dump in America only. Going to dump in America only. Because the creation basically is like this only. We can't basically deny the creation. We can't change the structure of the creation basically. Because it's very complicated. The world has created very complicated. So more complication basically is not supposed to happen. So like this basically the creation. So everything is basically the management basically. Nowadays basically the management skill basically is the higher level basically. How you are managing the company basically. For example, that Amazon basically data, which is actually the function basically which is supposed to deploy in USA, that is deploying one of the India server basically. So that manager or basically the company owner, company director or basically CEO or whoever might be of the at Amazon basically, he is handling the stuff basically. Up to that level basically is handling that basically. You will never able the person basically who is doing the job also not basically. He will also basically not able to track that basically. This function basically is basically somebody has the businessman has told that basically deploy this function in USA, but we are deploying in India. So you that is basically the management scheme. And nowadays basically world basically is using this type of resources basically who can manage the stuff basically very dangerous level. Reason everything is connected with that 100 crore child which is going to happen. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about this topic, that is lava data basically which is doing the process, and in that basically the lava process basically is of that 100 crore child basically which is going to happen, and each and every incident basically which is happening in this world basically whatever incident basically I am basically doing like this mouse cursor, That is also connected with the lava data. Basically. So one of the person told that the companies basically which has created basically in this world basically, I am basically in India. So taking the example of India, that the companies basically which are created in India basically, that is also like this what basically, that is also created on the basis of these all formulas basically. So there are many management formula basically you can say. Formula means set of process basically, set of steps basically you have to do, which is created by set of management gurus basically. That are the management powerful people basically. In India, basically management people basically. Everybody knows that basically who are the richest person, who are the richest people basically. They are only into the management. That's why basically they are rich, na basically. That's why basically they are rich. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about this topic.